distinguished guests, respected dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. It is with immense pride and privilege that I stand before you today as your host for the inaugural function of Advances in Coastal Research with special reference to Indo-Pacific, or AdCoRe-IP 2023. On behalf of Team NCCR, I extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. I request our honored dignitaries to now take their seats on the dais. Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, and our chief guest for today. Ms. Beate Gabrielsen, Counselor, Head of the Political Section of the Royal Norwegian Embassy in New Delhi. Dr. P.S. Goel, former Secretary, MOES. Dr. M. Rajivan, former Secretary, MOES. Dr. B.R. Subramanian, Founder Director of NCCR. Mr. Justin Ahenhanzo, Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission, UNESCO, France. And Dr. M.V. Ramanamurthy, Director, NCCR, and Mission Director, Deep Ocean Mission. Thank you very much. Without further ado, I call upon three of my colleagues to start the program with an invocation. For this, I request one and all to kindly rise.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि
गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रवेष्टाय धीमहि
एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि.
Thank you. It is customary to start any program with lighting of a lamp to express a respect for knowledge that only uplifts us like a flame. On this special occasion, I request our dignitaries on the dais to kindly light the lamp. Thank you very much. As NCCR turns 25, it is indeed an honor to be your host to mark this historical milestone in the Center's journey towards excellence. With this brief introduction, I would like to call upon Dr. M.V. Ramanamurthy, Scientist G and Director NCCR and Project Director Deep Ocean Mission, to present the welcome address.
Very good morning to all. Respected Chief Guest Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary Ministry of Earth Sciences. Our guest of honor, Ms. B.T. Gabrielson, from the Counselor, Head of the Political Section, Royal Norwegian Embassy, Delhi. And then we have with us Mr. David Eccleston, Deputy Consul General, South India, from the Australian Government, Australian Consulate. We have our special guest, Dr. P.S. Goyal, former Secretary, Minister of Earth Sciences, Dr. M. Rajivan, former Secretary, Minister of Earth Sciences, Dr. B.R. Subramaniam, founding Director of the SICMAM earlier, now it is NCCR, Dr. Justin Ivos, UNESCO, France, Professor Mohanty from RIS, distinguished panelists, Center Directors, colleagues from MOS family, international participants, stakeholders from the coastal states and union territories, other distinguished guests, well-wishers, colleagues from NCCR and then NIOT, press and media. A warm welcome to this conference on advances in coastal research with specific reference to Indo-Pacific region, what we call it as AdCoRe-IP23. In fact, this is a second of this series. The first one was held in 2019. Participants for this workshop represent international institutes and ministries, state governments, academicians, and then experts of marine and coastal research. Today's challenge for the policymakers and coastal resource managers is balance the economy and then sustainability. This workshop is to bring diverse stakeholders in a common platform to discuss and deliberate the challenges faced by the coastal region. The expected outcome of this two-day workshop will be providing a recommendations of this, which will serve a roadmap for the coastal research across the Indo-Pacific region as well as in the globe. Over next 2 days, we will deliberate on the critical issues like shoreline changes, coastal flooding due to climate change, marine pollution, coastal ecosystem, blue economy. We also have interactive session for the students, stakeholders meet with the state governments to identify the coastal issues. We thank all the participants for accepting our invitation to work together on coastal research. NCCR began its journey in 1998 as a ICMAM project directorate, which is with World Bank funding, but now it has evolved as the National Center for Coastal Research with the complete funding from the Ministry of Earth Sciences. Due to constant support of and guidance of our earlier secretaries, and with the advice of previous directors, this has evolved as a center of excellence in the coastal research. Now we have just completed 25 years in providing services to the coastal states. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. M. Ravichandran, Dr. Rajivan, Dr. Sailesh Naik, Dr. P.S. Goyal, and then all the founding directors and well-wishers of this institute. National Center for Coastal Research undertake multidisciplinary research relating to marine pollution, coastal processes and hazards, coastal habitats and ecosystems, and provide scientific and technical support to coastal states in the activities related to the sustainable management of coastal areas. I will briefly highlight the programs which has already been taken up by NCCR. We have a program called Seawater Quality Monitoring and Prediction and then Ecological Risk Management of the Coastal Waters. A network of observation network has been established all along the Indian coast to monitor the health of the coastal waters. This information has been provided to the state government like Central Pollution Control Boards, State Pollution Control Board, and many national institutes in the country. This will form an important input for the Sustainable Development Goal 14. In fact, NCCR provides all information related to the SDG 14 to the international community, especially Intergovernmental Oceanography Commission. We also have developed standards for the heavy metals to contain the pollution or abatement of the pollution further. NCCR has been identified as a nodal centers for the marine litter program of the country, and then we will be providing information to the MOFCC in formulation of marine litter policy. There are several other programs like the ecosystem modeling, coral reef monitoring at Gulf of Mannar. We have a field center in Mandapam, closely monitor the health of the coral reef due to man-made activities as well as the climate change. Shoreline change is one of the important aspects of the coastline which is subject to erosion. We have maps of 1:25,000 scale for the entire country, which has been serving as one of the basic information for protection of coastal areas for that. NCCR along with other MOS institutions like Indian Meteorological Department, National Center for Medium Weather Range Forecast, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology and Municipal Corporation of Mumbai as well as Chennai developed a flood warning system that has been put in operation, and whenever we have excess rainfall, how do we predict that and how do we mitigate from these kind of floods, that has been put in operational mode. NCCR has been given a responsibility of developing a detailed project report for Kalpasar. It was completed in a record time. Now the report is being submitted to the government of Gujarat. At international level, it is involved in a collaborative work with government of Norway. 2 marine special plans were already developed. We work closely with CIPAS, UK, JAMSTEC. Now we have colleagues from JAMSTEC, Vietnam, and then Fiji on various aspects to be coordinated from the NCCR side. Coming to the coastal pollution and then ecosystem, we have colleagues from Vietnam. We came all the way, and thank you all of them for participating and then coming to this workshop. NCCR will now, as an exclusive world-class water quality research laboratory, will be established shortly. This will serve as one of the major milestones for the coastal research in the country. Sustainable management of coastal areas involves multidisciplinary research to understand the critical coastal parameters, processes, and phenomena. We have significant societal, economic, and environmental impact on the coastal population and resources. I take this time to welcome you all for this workshop and also the celebration of 25 years completion of NCCR. On the behalf of NCCR, I thank visionaries, former directors, colleagues, collaborators, well-wishers for taking the time out to be with us for this important day. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. It is now time to welcome our dignitaries with a token of gratitude. I request Dr. M.V. Ramanamurthy, Director NCCR, to felicitate our chief guest for today, Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, with a shawl and memento. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Tune Usha, Scientist G, NCCR, to felicitate Ms. Beat Gabrielsen, Counselor, Head of the Political Section of the Royal Norwegian Embassy in New Delhi. Thank you, ma'am. I now request Dr. T. Shanmugaraj, Scientist G, NCCR, to felicitate Dr. P.S. Goel, former Secretary of the Ministry of Earth Sciences. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Pravakar Mishra, Scientist G, NCCR, to felicitate Dr. M. Rajivan, former Secretary of the Ministry of Earth Sciences. Thank you, sir. I request Mr. K.V. Sharma, Scientist F, NCCR, to felicitate Dr. B.R. Subramanian, Founder Director of NCCR. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Uma Shankar Panda, Scientist F, NCCR, to felicitate Mr. Justin Ahanhanzo, Program Specialist, Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO, France. Thank you, sir. Once again, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all our dignitaries and guests on and off the dais who have taken time off their busy schedules to join us on this iconic day. Padma Shri Dr. Prem Shankar Goel has been a pioneer in the field of space research in India. He has served as a secretary at the Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India from 2005 to 2008 and was a former director of ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization, from 1997 to 2005. It was under his leadership that the Department of Ocean Development was transformed into today's Ministry of Earth Sciences. He is currently chair of the Project Monitoring and Guidance Committee for the Manned Submersible Mission, the Samudrayan mission of MOES. It is an honor to have you here in our midst today, sir. I humbly request you to say a few words to our gathering.
Good morning to you all. Dr. Ravichandran, our honored guest from abroad, Norway and UNESCO, and of course my colleague Rajivan, and so Ramanmurthy, and we have our so many colleagues from Ministry of Earth Sciences and connected people with the ocean. It's a great thing to happen that we are celebrating 25 years of ICMEM versus NCCR. It's a very productive journey, and what we have heard just now from Dr. Ramanmurthy, it's really, one can have a lot of pride that yes, this unit is doing such a marvelous job, wonderful job. In fact, I visited some time back a project near Chennai, and the coastline protection which they have done is something making so much a difference. And yesterday when I was talking, our Professor Balasubramaniam, he said that even greater impact will come when they get involved in the project as Kalsar. So it's a useful work. But then this unit is now NCCR, and R stands for research and C for coastal. So the question is, what we ought to do? Yes, research for science or research for society. So we need to find a balance between the two. Because when we are talking of a coastal research, the coast behaves very differently at different places. India has got 7,500 kilometers of coast. So the problems of the people who live around the coast, almost 30% of our population is around that. So their survival depends on how we treat our coast. So we have to do research because we have to understand the coastal processes. When we are talking of saving Pondicherry from the erosion, or maybe Kerala coast, or maybe Tamil Nadu, the process at different places are very different. So just using of a software, I remember when BRS, we used to call Subramaniam as BRS at that time. So when he approached that he wanted more copies of Mike 25 or something, I don't remember exactly. It went to a lot of debate. Do we understand how the software works? So the question is, we need to really develop our understanding of those coastal processes. And using a software is fine, but we must get into how this software works. So this is one area where really we get into the research. But then, it's equally important that those 30% of the population of the country visiting along the coast, we do something for them. And that is all related to, you can say, their development or maybe blue economy. So these are all ultimately the essence of a scientist is how useful he has been to the society. When we conceived the earth science concept, actually it evolved from there. Before that, there was a separation between ocean and atmosphere. But then we realized that unless we couple them together and look at a total problem, we won't be able to really neither do the proper forecasting of the weather, nor we will be able to understand oceans properly. So this is something, a balance between the science and the application part for the society. This is something very important, and this is what actually one has to look into the future. See, 25 years typically is something like mid-journey of most of the organizations. When you really see organizations at the age of 40, 50, you see a decline. And that is the universal process for most of the places. Now, at 25, if we are not growing, then we are declining. That's something which I would like all the NCR people to remember. Any organization that does not grow, it starts decaying. So we have to develop larger aspirations. Growth, I don't mean only in terms of manpower or budget. Growth is in terms of developing our aspirations to a larger society. Now, where I feel a next direction has to come. I think next direction has to come, are we creating the service industry for the coastal region? When I look back, either Department of Space or ISRO, or maybe other organizations like Atomic Energy or CSIR, we lack one thing everywhere in the scientific community, that we are not providing a linkage between the research and the service component. When I was reviewing very recently about ISRO, we set up only one unit in the Ministry of Agriculture where we really are able to transfer the technology of how the crop forecasting can be done. And that work is being done very well. Similarly, in the area of coastal research, if we are going to become an island, only we will do, it won't work. Can we bring industry in a larger way for this service function? That is very important. When we are doing either coastal protection, if we take up a project every kilometer, it will take dozens of years. We need to do it fast. So how do we spread this knowledge? And how do we provide a service function? How do we create a service industry? That's something now probably we need to think of. So I'm just trying to say this kind of direction, that in future, our manpower has to grow, not necessarily at the cost of government or government money, but as a service function. So this is something a future has to grow. And I see that ICMEM, or along with, of course, NIT, and that's another part, the synergy between NIOT and NCCR is very important. Actually, NIOT is a technology powerhouse for the ocean. So we need to really link very closely with these two. So this is something for our future to look for. With this few suggestions, I really congratulate the whole team and wish them a very, very long journey and successful journey and fruitful journey. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much for sharing your valuable thoughts with us, sir. Dr. Madhavan Rajivan Nair, former Secretary of the Ministry of Earth Sciences, has immense experience in monsoon variability and prediction, climate change, extreme weather events, and prediction of mesoscale systems. He now works as an MOES Distinguished Scientist at the National Centre for Earth Science Studies, NCCR, Trivandrum, Kerala. Thank you for accepting our invitation, sir. We are eager to hear your thoughts on this important day for NCCR.
Good morning to all of you. Dr. Ravichandran, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences. Ms. Gabrielson, Councillor, Head of Norwegian Embassy in Delhi. Dr. P.S. Goel, former Secretary, MOES. Dr. Subramanian, former Executive Director of NCCR. Dr. Justin Hanso, IOC, UNESCO. My good friend, Dr. Ramanamurthy, Director, National Center for Coastal Research, and distinguished guests and participants of this meeting. First of all, congratulations to NCCR for completing 25 years of long service, both research as well as applications. They have grown up from a World Bank project office to a national institute now, National Center for Center for Coastal Research. I'm really happy to see their progress. And last few years, they have taken up many important activities. And I remember taking up flood warning systems for Chennai and as well as for Bombay, which is Mumbai, and which are running very well now. They also have taken up a lot of projects on monitoring of coastal pollution, and they have been doing it for the last 20-25 years, and a lot of publications have come. Dr. Goel Saab was mentioning about how research should be converted into services. It's a very important aspect, but I personally feel that they are, as much as possible, they are trying to do the application of research what they are doing it. They are helping many state governments, and also they are involving in national projects. And today's meeting, I'm very sure that they will be talking about shoreline management, coastal flooding, blue economy, marine pollution. And the new item is coastal ecosystem services, where we have not done much. That's what my feeling. So probably we will be discussing much more about how to do the coastal ecosystem services. These are all very important topics. The blue economy, we have probably a kind of a policy will be coming out from the government of India on blue economy. And coastal region is very, very valuable. And as we know that we have a long coast, and it's a small statistics I will tell you is 9 coastal states collectively receive about more than 60% of foreign direct investments. And 1/3 of Indian population lives in coastal area. 1/3. So we can understand the importance of Indian coast. And the Indian coastal area is getting affected, influenced by many factors. One of them is, of course, climate change. And when we talk about climate change and impacts on coastal areas, we talk mostly on sea level rise. But there are many, many aspects which are coming out from research, international research as well as national research. Is, for example, the role of subsidence, role of increasing tropical cyclones. So many other factors also getting into. So I'm very sure that NCCR will get involved in this kind of research and do much more research which is required for understanding the coastal process and how climate change is affecting the Indian coast and what are the remedies. And also, of course, they have to make some kind of policy for adaptation. So adaptation is very important. And nowadays people talk about dynamical flood warning system instead of a kind of only worried about sea level rise. So there are many issues which, of course, in the afternoon, the panel discussion will be discussing all these issues. And Dr. Goel was also mentioning about interaction with the NIOT, but I will add one more institute as IITM in Pune, which I remember that I have been telling Ramanamurthy to interact, because you need to understand how the future climate change will affect Indian coast. So you need a good projection for. We don't worry about 2,100. None of us will probably, except for youngsters, none of us will leave. So that's basically academic interest. But next 20 years, 30 years, we want to know how climate change is going to affect Indian coast in terms of its vulnerability, in terms of impacts and risk. So probably they have a beautiful national center for climate change research there. So we need to, NCCR should closely work with them. Very high resolution modeling framework they should develop. And so wish you all the best, Dr. Ramnamurthy and your team, and do well. And one more, finally, one more suggestion. So last time I remember in 2019 when I came and inaugurated the first conference, I remember telling Ramnamurthy, please get out of this institute, this campus, and have an independent institute somewhere nearby. And I am sure that Ramnamurthy is doing it. You need a better identity and do well, and wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. It was great listening to you. It is our pride to have with us today the founder director of NCCR, Dr. B.R. Subramanian. Dr. Subramanian has been instrumental in implementing the Coastal Ocean Monitoring and Prediction System, COMAPS. His guidance was crucial to carry out several World Bank-funded projects during ICMAM PD's initial days. Dr. Subramanian has also initiated 3 5-year plan projects and has created a solid foundation that NCCR stands upon today. With the guidance of people like you, sir, we have come this far and are continuing to grow, learn, and share knowledge. On this day that marks NCCR's 25th anniversary, we invite you to share your thoughts with us, sir.
Good morning to all of you. Dr. Ravichandran, Ms. Gabrielson, Dr. Goyal, Dr. Rajivan, Dr. Justin Hananso, Dr. Ramanamurthy, former directors of various institutions, eminent scientists from India and abroad, scientists of various institutions. It's a great pleasure to be here on the 25th of celebration of ICMAM alias NCCR. It started as a ICMAM project directorate in the year 1998 with the World Bank funding, environment management capacity building to create capacity for coastal research in the country. So very grateful to the aid of the World Bank and the former secretaries Dr. Muthanayagam and also Dr. T.K. Nair, who was Secretary Environment, later Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, who greatly helped in forming the ICMAM Project Directorate. So with a small setup in Anna University, with the help of NIOT, it was housed here in the campus. So it started with the major projects which should come up with a product. That was the not only manpower development, research, it led to a product. So the team, Ramanamurthy, Kankara, Misra, Susha, so we had a handful of 7 or 8 people with the help of institutions, brought up ICZM plans for Chennai, Goa and Gulf of Kutch, and then guidelines for conducting EIA for ports, harbors, as well as the tourism and waste disposal, and then waste assimilation capacity. One has to know how much the capacity the water body can receive the waste. So that also was done for Tapi as well as Enu. So like that, many R&D projects were added, but some products always came up. And at the time of 2004 tsunami, thankful to Dr. Harsh Gupta, who was former secretary, gave an important role to us. So on the day of tsunami morning, around 9 o'clock, 9:30, I got a call from Ramanamurthy, sir, I am at the Besant Nagar beach with RTK GPS. So he started the completely run-up measurements there and extended to Andaman Nicobar Islands. They were there in the Andaman Nicobar Islands in the very crucial situation where you can see the dead bodies lying on the other side and then measurements on this side. So it's such a very dedicated effort made by Dr. Ramanamurthy at that time. It resulted in very good data, which was very useful for the DST committee to identify the safe locations from the earthquake as well as tsunami point of view to the inhabitants of Andaman. Dr. C.V.R. Murthy, who is here now, he was part of the team in developing seismic related settlement guidelines for the Andaman. So with this kind of day-to-day problem addressing, we started with the shoreline management plans, and then very important criteria for the pollution is today we do not know how much we can discharge and what threshold value up to which the sea can accept. So the seawater quality criteria was developed. I think 6 of them are already with the Ministry of Environment and then going to be published as a standard. So like that, there is enormous advancement in the program, conceived the ecosystem modeling to predict the ecosystem right from the level of nutrients up to the fish. You can predict from one trophic level, phytoplankton, zooplankton, as well as the fish. So it was successfully done for Cochin backwaters as well as the Chilka Lagoon. I think all these programs have taken a very good shape now in the form of various guidelines as well as the other reports, especially the shoreline atlases, shoreline change atlases, flood mapping. And I see enormous very good development growth of the institute from just handful of people. Now it has got plenty of scientists as well as institutions. So I wish the institute to grow more and more. It has got very metamorphic changes which will continue. It will grow better and also will fulfill what Dr. Goyal has today made a point. And I wish Dr. Ramanamurthy, his team, and also other institutions which are collaborating with the NCCR to keep the momentum to highest level to become one of the state-of-the-technology or marine research institutes in the country as well as abroad. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your address. I deem it a privilege to introduce NCCR's good friend and well-wisher from Paris, Mr. Justin Ahenhenzo, Program Specialist at the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO, France. He served as a Technical Secretary of the Global Ocean Observing System, or GOOS, Regional Alliances, GOOS Africa Coordinator, and as a team leader of the UNESCO cross-cutting project on the applications of remote sensing for integrated management of ecosystems and water resources in Africa. He has contributed tremendously to shaping UN's Decade of Ocean Science. He is also instrumental for the rebirth of IOC Indio in this region. It is an honor to be in your presence, sir. We would like to hear your thoughts on this special occasion.
Good morning, all. It is quite intimidating to stand before you after such distinguished personalities have spoken. And they are not only distinguished personalities, but they are pioneers. And I'm not sure that those who constructed the agenda make justice to put me behind them, because they have said it all. So what should I say? There are only 2 ways to speak. Make a short speech, which is in French, thank merci, or longer speech, which is thank you very much. I will try to be between, and being here is a privilege. Being here today is an honor. And I will frame my thought to you in terms of stories, short stories. The first time I come to Chennai was in 2016. And I'm happy that I'm back again to Chennai. And that is the place to be. It is a place to be when it comes to the program of the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission in the Indian Ocean. And I like to say it is not by chance that Indian Ocean is called after Indian, the first world. And India has been playing pivotal role for the revival of the IOC Regional Committee for the Central Indian Ocean. That's why I came here for the first time in 2016 under the leadership of Dr. Rajivan, who was at the time Secretary Moise. And I'm very impressed, and coming to India to me is learning trip, because I could see for the last 2 decades the continuity in the Ministry of Earth Science with pioneers from Dr. Goel to Dr. Rajivan and today Dr. Shivadran. The continuity in the long-term vision for not only ocean science, we are ocean scientists here, but in Earth science in general in the country. And because of the vision and because of the support, the meeting that we had here in 2016, which was to reactivate the IOC Regional Committee for Central Indian Ocean, which has been dormant for more than 10 years. And I will confess to you, nobody believed that this committee could be reactivated. I'm telling you, even in my office in Paris, we were only 2 people who believe it, with you, with people from India, that the committee could be reactivated. And it happened because of the Ministry of Earth Science, because of the commitment, because of the support, because of the hard-working scientists. Dr. Satish Chennai here in the room, Dr. Tamanat, Dr. Morty, Dr. Ucha, Dr. Dash, Dr. Srinivas, Dr. Mohanty, and the saddest is when you start to list, you always forget the most important. So I'm sorry for those who I forget. But the good news is that because of the effort for now 7 years, there has been resolution of the last IUC Assembly in Paris in June, 27 June. It was before Dr. Ravichandran, that the IUC Assembly, 150 countries altogether, unanimously adopted resolution that committee, because of the effort, because of the support, because of the investment of the countries in the region, and that may not be diplomatically correct, but how India's leadership is worth noting. Because of that, they passed a resolution to upgrade the committee to the level of subcommission, which we now have permanent secretariat. And I'm happy, under the control and leadership of Secretary Moise, Dr. Chandran, that India has offered to hold secretariat here. So that is a great achievement. Why do I'm telling you this story? For any human endeavor to last, people count, but the institution matter more. And I feel very privileged to speak after Dr. Subramanian, who is a pioneer, the founding director of the institute. What is amazing and what is unique for the pioneer is they are the first to start, from whom they should learn. They may make mistakes, but still they are the first. And he made it with the support of the government. He made it with the support of his staff. And today, after 25 years, we could see in this campus, and I personally learned for my interaction working with the scientists from NCCR, from NIUT, from INCOS, I've seen the power, and I wait my word. I travel across the world, based in Paris, the former maritime empire. I've seen the science base in this country. I've seen also elsewhere. But after 20 years, you have achieved great work. And you should be proud of your people. You should be proud of yourself. And I'm happy to take part of your voyage. And I'm sure that in 20 years, those will come to celebrate your 50 years anniversary, they will say, wow. And my last word will be that, again, the IOC Assembly in June adopted resolution that the first ever international conference on coastal vulnerability will be organized here in Chennai, in this campus, next year, 2004. And again, that is because of the people. Because for the IOC Regional Committee, for the Central Indian Ocean, there are two flagship programs, capacity development and coastal vulnerability. And the leadership team for the coastal vulnerability program is no one more than your own people. Dr. Usha, Dr. Dash, Srinivas, Ramanamurthy, these are the people who are leading the program. And because of the efforts, the international community have recognized the excellency in that work to organize and host the first ever international conference on coastal vulnerability in this same and only campus, joint campus of NCCR and NIOT. Finally, we say in my mother tongue in Benin, where I come from in Africa, it is not much what we're doing today that matter. It is the legacy that we are leaving for the next generation that matter. You are leaving legacy, and I will say thank you very much, and happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much for your address and kind words, sir. It is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Beate Gabrielsen, Counselor, Head of the Political Section of the Royal Norwegian Embassy in New Delhi. She has served as a Norwegian diplomat in the Norwegian Ministry of Foreign Affairs as well as in the Royal Norwegian Embassy in Canberra, Australia. Indo-Norwegian collaborations are particularly strong in the field of marine research and development and have a great future ahead. On this note, I request Ms. Beate to address the gathering.
Thank you. Dear all, distinguished guests, secretary, former secretaries, founders, and everyone else, thank you so much for inviting Norway to this 25th Jubilee for the National Center for Coastal Research. Unfortunately, the ambassador is unwell and he was not able to travel. However, I am excited to be here to represent Norway, and this is my first visit to this institute and also to Chennai. I'm also glad that I can contribute to the gender balance on stage today. Ambassador Friedland asked me to send his regards and specifically mention his many good memories on working together with the staff of the center on furthering the agenda of blue economy and sustainable oceans. As many of you know, there has always been a close connection between Norway and India in ocean research. But the last year's cooperation on integrated ocean management and marine spatial planning, where NCCR has a key role, has woven the connection even tighter. The ocean is close to my heart and is serious business for a Norwegian. We still mainly live of and by the sea, and the ocean is key to our history, identity, and economy. 70% of our exports are ocean-related and has been so for more than 1,000 years. We need to continue to be able to keep our economic activity in balance in a sustainable manner to safeguard our future. Marine spatial planning is a proactive approach to managing the various activities within our marine environment. It encompasses a wide range of considerations such as conservation, fisheries, shipping, energy production, and tourism. By carefully analyzing and strategically organizing these activities, we can strike a balance that promotes economic growth while safeguarding the delicate marine ecosystem. Healthy, living, and productive oceans is a requirement for sustainable growth for both Norway and the world. Our Prime Minister, Jonas Gahr Støre, said this at the Ocean Conference in Bergen recently. He stressed how important it is to manage these potential conflicts of interest in a transparent and scientifically informed manner. The oceans are an area where people have strong and vocally expressed opinions. Any who have been part of fisheries negotiations have to remember under which weather conditions fishermen learn to discuss and argue. And while this is a happy day, celebrating the 25th Jubilee for NCCR, the situation is very serious. Our oceans are under threat, and their role in climate and climate change still needs to be better understood. The changes are also threatening fish stocks and other marine resources that again are central for our coastal communities. I will give you some examples from Norway. Effluence from agriculture and industry is leading to algae growth and pressure on the fish stocks in southern Norway. Warming waters lead to the same result. We have also challenges such as invasive species. Both the humpback salmon and the king crab are examples that threaten the indigenous species in Norway. Aquaculture is battling with the challenges of high population density, illnesses, and parasites. To understand and to solve many of these challenges, we need research and we need cooperation. We need exchanges of ideas and knowledge between people. And that is also the core of the Norway-India cooperation. Chennai is an important hub for the marine and maritime sector, and I see many of our partners here today. Many Norwegian institutions and companies are active here, and we hope to see that these ties deepen even further. And of course, we would like to give recognition to how much our good friend and partner NCCR has accomplished during these 25 years, based here in Chennai, together with all these other relevant partners, and in close cooperation with also Norwegian institutions. First, building a scientific community for coastal research with a number of published research papers, as well as establishing baselines and mapping studies to enable tracking changes over time. And now working with marine spatial planning and contributing towards standards and guidance in this area. Laying the groundwork for better and knowledge-based decisions in the future. And looking to the future, the Norwegian government recently released a white paper on utilizing seabed mineral resources and a policy for Norway to be a leading hub in this area. Having as much knowledge beforehand as possible is, of course, crucial to be able to have an efficient and sustainable use of the ocean's resources. The oceans are also an important space for multilateral work. Norway supports the UN Ocean Decade 2021 to 2030 with UNESCO and IOC to develop the science we need for the ocean we want. Our cooperation with NCCR is a prime example of that. We also cooperate with India in our marine litter program, which aims to work together to reduce marine litter and riverine pollution. The program contributes to increase the knowledge base and to help monitor the effects of steps taken. Your Excellencies, dignitaries, if you didn't already know, at least now you know that the ties between Norway and India in the ocean space are many and close. And we hope to see this increase even more in the future. When Shri Kiren Rijiju became Minister of Earth Sciences, the first trip he made abroad was to Norway. And we credit this to the results in our cooperation. There have been several delegations that have traveled both ways. Our task force on blue economy is fully in force, and we have a close dialogue with Ministry of Earth Sciences and other involved Indian ministries at the central level. We also note the important dialogue with the union territories of Pondicherry and Lakshadweep, our close relations with Tamil Nadu and Kerala, as well as our engagements up and down the coast on both sides of India. We have had engagement for over 200 years, including the Nicobar Islands. I am happy to say that our relationship has matured over time, and that now we focus on knowledge sharing and generation and bilateral and commercial relationships. The future looks bright blue indeed. Thank you very much for your time. Tusen takk, Dhanavad Nandri. Thank you.
Thank you for your address, ma'am. We are positive that our ties with Norway only grow stronger. Team NCCR is a dedicated group of people working towards generating reliable information. On the occasion of NCCR's 25th anniversary, we request our dignitaries on the dais to release some of the publications that are reflections of the work we carry out here. The Coastal Inundation Risk Atlas has been prepared in collaboration with Indian National Center for Ocean Information System, INCOIS, Hyderabad. This is a one-of-a-kind book that shall be of help for decision makers of the state of Tamil Nadu. Coastal risks along the Tamil Nadu coast have been analyzed and mapped in the atlas, which are crucial for disaster mitigation and management. Now, I request our chief guest, Dr. M. Ravichandran, to release this atlas along with the other dignitaries on the dais. A brief video of all the publications are going to be played on the screen behind me. Thank you. Underwater critical coastal habitats have been studied by NCCR in detail, especially in the Park Bay region of Tamil Nadu. Reef resilience studies are crucial to understand these delicate ecosystems and their responses to climate change. I now request Ms. Beate Gabrielson to release the report on coral reef resilience studies in Park Bay conducted by the NCCR field station at Mandapam along with other dignitaries on the dais. Thank you once again. Coastalpedia is an attempt by NCCR to create awareness about our coasts. It is a compilation of 365 facts, one for each day of the year, about the coasts for everyday reading. A set of questions follow each write-up to make it more interesting and thought-provoking. The book has 2 volumes. I request Dr. P.S. Goel to release the first volume of Coastalpedia along with the other dignitaries on the dais. Thank you very much. It is now time to hear from our chief guest for today, Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary of the Ministry of Earth Sciences. He has been an inspiration to all in the field of ocean and marine research. He is also a member of several premium national and international committees and teams like the International Arctic Science Committee and is the Vice President of the Scientific Committee on Antarctic Research, SCAR, of International Science Council Capacity Building. I deem it a privilege to call upon our Secretary to deliver the Chief Guest address.
Today's guest of honor, Ms. Beate Gabrielson, former Secretary of Ministry of Earth Sciences, Dr. Goel and Dr. Rajivan, former directors of NCCR, Dr. B.R. Subramaniam, Dr. Sampath, Dr. Justin, my close friend, IOC UNESCO, Dr. Ramanamurthy, Director NCCR, colleagues and friends from NCCR, NIOT, and MOES, and other institutions of MOES, and other distinguished invitees and friends. A very good morning to all of you. It is indeed a great pleasure to be here as part of this 25 years celebration of NCCR. First and foremost, I congratulate NCCR team for contributing various services to the nation for long 25 years and various aspects of coastal research and services. I think your contributions are very immense, and thank you one and all for your continued contribution to the society. I am sure in the coming years you will contribute much more than the present. Today's workshop on advances in coastal research with a special emphasis on Indo-Pacific is an important topic, and it is the need of the hour. As you all know that coastal research in the Indo-Pacific region, which spans from the east coast of Africa to the west coast of Pacific, including many islands, is home for numerous countries with the diverse coastal environments. These environments are not only rich in biodiversity, but also have a great economic, ecological, and strategic significance. Therefore, understanding this and managing the complex interaction with these coastal ecosystems are at most importance. One of the thrust areas of this region is to study and understand various oceanographic processes in this region. Since this region experiences a variety of oceanographic phenomena, including monsoons, Indonesian through flow, upwelling currents, and many other ocean atmospheric interaction, coastal interactions, we need to investigate the physical process to better understand their impacts on coastal ecosystem, such as nutrient cycling, sediment transport, circulation patterns, and various ocean physical and chemical and biological variations, especially under the climate change scenario. Once we understand thoroughly, then it is important we need to develop various models and predictions to support effective coastal management practices and conservation efforts. The second thrust areas of this one is basically hazards and vulnerability. Of course, coastal regions in this region are prone to a range of hazards, including cyclones, tsunami, storm surge, coastal flooding, and sea level rise. Understanding the vulnerability of coastal communities, ecosystems, and infrastructure to these hazards is crucial for developing adaptive strategies. Research in this area involves the assessment of exposure, sensitivity, and adaptive capacity, leading to the development of the hazard maps, early warning systems, and land use patterns and various guidelines. Of course, coastal biodiversity and conservation is also another important areas in this region, since it is globally recognized as a biodiversity hotspot with its coral reefs, mangroves, and seagrass beds supporting a high abundance and diversity of marine species. There is a growing need to investigate the impacts of human activities such as overfishing, habitat destruction, pollution on these ecosystems. Studies on these areas and functionality and resilience of the ecosystems and identify strategies to mitigate the human-induced stressors, ensuring the sustainability of coastal resources. The climate change research represents a cross-cutting thrust area within the coastal and region, especially in the Indo-Pacific region. The region is vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, including rising sea level, changing precipitation patterns, and increased ocean temperature, and many other things. It is imperative to examine the long-term trends, model future scenarios, and assess the socio-economic implications, developing adaptation and mitigation strategies that can reduce the vulnerability of the coastal communities and ecosystem to climate-related risks. The other important task, or maybe the work, is blue economy. Of course, this refers to the sustainable use of the ocean resources for the economic growth. For many aspects, of course, we need to have a balance between the resources as well as the health of the ecosystems. Yes, there are many opportunities, oceans having oceans of opportunity, but there is a lot of challenges too. It has economic growth and job creation, It has a food security and nutrition, renewable energy resources, tourism and recreation, conservation of ecosystem services, and also it is imperative we need to do a lot of research and innovation and need to have a collaboration, international collaboration, and finally we need to build the capacity building. This all encompasses the blue economy. Of course, it is imperative to strike a balance between economic development and environmental conservation, ensuring a sustainable future for both marine environment and human society. As Justin mentioned that strike a balance between mercy and thank you very much, and this is also very important, resources versus health of the ecosystem, we need to have a balance. By embracing the sustainable practices and responsible use of ocean resources, we can unlock the potential of the blue economy while preserving the health and integrity of our future generation. Of course, from studying oceanographic processes and coastal hazards to investing biodiversity and climate change is crucial for coastal management and conservation, apart from harnessing ocean resources with sustainability. By understanding the complex interaction within the coastal ecosystem, we can contribute to the sustainable development, resilience, and the protection of valuable coastal resources in the Indo-Pacific regions. Of course, the NCCR contribution is immense in this direction. They continue to contribute. Last, I think, a decade or so, it has contributed very significantly. And I once again thank all the NCCR team for continue to work similar way and much more better way so that you can contribute not only the country but also in the entire regions. I wish the workshop a grand success and bring out actionable recommendation, especially for implementable recommendation. I am looking forward to that. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much.
Sorry. Thank you, sir, for your enlightening words. NCCR has come a long way, and we shall always value the efforts taken by our visionaries who shaped NCCR as we see it today. On this iconic day, I request our chief guest, Dr. Ravichandran, to felicitate our visionaries. Dr. V. Sampath, former director of NCCR. Sir, kindly come onto the dais. Dr. M. A. Atmanand, former director of NCCR. Dr. Satish C. Shenoy, former director of NCCR. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'd like to mention here that all our mementos are handcrafted especially for this occasion by a young entrepreneur. This token of appreciation from NCCR can be used as an art piece in your house or office. With this, we have reached the fag end of the inaugural function. I request Dr. Tune Usha, convener AdCoRe-IP23, to deliver the vote of thanks.
dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries of the dais, diplomats, colleagues from the scientific and research academic fraternity, officers from the central and state government, students, teachers from the city schools, industry partners, friends from the press, ladies, gentlemen, vanakkam and a very good morning. As inculcated in all of us, Nandri Marapadu Nandrendru, and gratitude is the highest form of thought. I deem it my privilege to thank our mentors, well-wishers, colleagues and friends who have taken time out to join us on this very special day for us. Considering the paucity of time, I will keep it very short, yet loaded with a lot of gratitude. On behalf of our director and my colleagues at NCCR, I thank our secretary and chief guest, Dr. Ravichandran, Secretary MOS, for his support, guidance and encouragement, not only for this workshop, but to all our activities at NCCR. Thank you, sir. The students are looking forward to their interaction with you, and we also thank you for taking time out to meet them and encourage them as they are the future custodians of the coast. NCCR has been working with Norway on many projects, including the marine spatial planning, and we are thankful to the Norwegian Embassy and Ms. Beate Gabrielsen for gracing this occasion. We also thank Dr. David Eggleston, Deputy Commissioner from Australian High Commission, for accepting our invitation and also agreeing to meet the students. In this time when online meetings are the norm of the day, I profusely thank Mr. Justin, our well-wisher and good friend of NCCR, who rescheduled his plans and traveled half the way around the world to be with us today. NCCR, previously known as ICMAM PD, was established in 1998, and this is our Silver Jubilee year. We owe our inception to our founder director, Dr. B.R. Subramaniam, and most of us started our career under his guidance. We take this time to thank you, sir, for all that you have done for the establishment of this institute. As you are all aware, changing from a project director to a center of excellence did not happen overnight. And NCCR is indebted to Dr. Goel, sir, who headed the first committee constituted in 2012 to review the status of ICMAM PD. Based on his positive recommendation, the ministry constituted a committee under Dr. Sailesh Naik, sir, to redefine the role of ICMAM PD and recommended the establishment of NCCR. Dr. M. Atmanand, Dr. Shenoy, Dr. K.J. Ramesh, Dr. Balasubramaniam, Dr. Korean, Dr. Somasundar were all part of this committee, and we are indebted to you, sirs, and are delighted that you could join us today. We are grateful to Dr. Sampath and Dr. Thomas for their invaluable support to us through the years. In 2018, it was under the guidance of Dr. Rajivan, sir, NCCR was gazetted as a National Center of Excellence for Coastal Research, and we are grateful to you, sir, for all your guidance and support to us through the years. We are privileged to have a galaxy of stellar performers today, and on behalf of NCCR, I extend our gratitude and thanks to all our center directors, senior professors, scientists from various institutes, national collaborators, international delegates who have raised the bar of this workshop and set the tone for all the scientific deliberations that is to happen today and tomorrow. Special thanks to the chair and co-chair and panelists of the 9 sessions for your leadership and support. I thank Dr. Ramdas, Director NIOT, and Dr. Purnima for extending all support and facilities for the conduct of this workshop. I thank Dr. Mohanty, RIS, who have been associated with us in the conduct of this workshop from 2019 onwards. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Vijay Kumar and the Program Division at MOES for all their support to NCCR. Our thanks are also due to Commander Prashant, who coordinated with us in all our international collaborations. I'd like to take this opportunity to say special thanks to all our former colleagues of NCCR who have contributed their might to the center. We'd also like to express our gratitude to the media and journalist friends for the excellent coverage of this event. All this would have been impossible without the support of my colleagues, and I take this opportunity to express my deep gratitude to my colleagues at NCCR. The support extended by NIOT staff for all arrangements is highly appreciated. I must say that the guidance and support provided by our director, Dr. M.B. Ramanamurthy, has been indispensable in this event. As we complete 25 years, we look back with gratitude and look forward with hope and new resolve to carry out research translating into service to coastal states and stakeholders. At this juncture, I once again thank all our visionaries, leaders, RIC members, national and international collaborators, colleagues from Ministry, NIOT, and all sister institutes who have stood with us this far. Thank you once again for all your generous support. We could not have done it without you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I request all NCCR family, former and present, to please come up to the dais for a group photograph. Thank you very much. Before we break for tea, we request that everyone assembles in front of the hall for a group photo. Also, high tea has been arranged at Manthan Hall. I request everyone to reassemble here in the same hall for the first session, Shoreline Management and Coastal Protection. A parallel session comprising of students' programs will be happening at Rajendra Chola Hall. The sessions will restart here at 11:20 a.m. Kindly join for the group photograph. Thank you.